What's going on, everyone? So LeBron James and Anthony Davis are the main components for us to have success and potentially win an NBA championship, right? We go as far as these two take, especially Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is going to have to make that shift and going to have to be the guy this year. LeBron James is only getting older, right? Year 21, 39 years old, and he's coming off of an injury in which it doesn't appear like he had to have surgery on, although there was a lot of talks about him needing surgery. And then on top of that, LeBron himself said if he did have surgery, you would never hear about it. And so it kind of, tinfoil cap, put it on, it's very possible he did. But regardless, even if he didn't, he's taking time to rest. He is ramping up and working out based on what Rob Pelinka and Darvin Ham have told us. And so these two guys are the guys that are, yes, the most important pieces throughout the playoff run. We don't win without either of them, right? You need both of them to win an NBA championship. But this Lakers roster is very deep and very talented. And it has so many core pieces that also can cover for LeBron James and Anthony Davis over the course of the regular season. I really think LeBron and AD, LeBron specifically, I think will take a backseat tenfold. Anthony Davis, I think, needs to be the guy, but he doesn't have to insanely dominate for this team to win, right? He's going to be able to go out there, establish himself as the dude, but I don't think we're going to need him to be a 30 and 15 guy every single night. Now, if he wants to and he's capable of doing it, then sure, but it's more about the health. It's more about getting through the regular season. You got 82 games. Both of these guys are probably going to miss 20 plus games over the course of the season. But LeBron, I think, really kind of just looks at it and goes, all right, 82 games. I got to conserve myself. I got to take steps back. I'm going to kind of defer to all the other guys. Let AD be the guy. And then everyone else that is on this roster can kind of handle the workload. He's still going to get his 20 points a night because it's LeBron James, right? He'll still probably be a 22, 8, and 8 guy, even with him taking a backseat and taking a huge just time off. But we also saw that in the playoffs, right? We saw him take steps back and allow guys like Austin Reaves to just take over games and close down the stretch and whatnot, when that was usually LeBron's role. We saw if LeBron needed to, he could go get 40, as we saw in the Denver series, but at that point it was too late. So over the course of the regular season, I don't think he's going to need to try to overexert himself just for the Lakers to have success. We saw that last year, right? How many times did LeBron James have 30 or 40 points and the Lakers lose? Happened a lot, right? And he ended up wearing himself down, and then he ends up getting hurt, and he just wasn't the same as he was pre-injury. So we need these two healthy. And that's where I think our big three for the regular season are going to come in. I think the three biggest pieces for the Lakers during the regular season, and very likely the playoffs, of course, but I don't think in the playoffs as big as LeBron and AD, is Rui Hachimura, Austin Reaves, and D'Angelo Russell. These three guys, I think, are going to handle 80% of the workload, at least on the offensive end. Right? All three of these guys are more than capable of dropping 20 on any given night. All three of these guys will very likely be starters, right? I don't think the Lakers went and paid Rui Hachimura $17 million a year to come off the bench. Now, if the Lakers do land Christian Wood, then maybe that changes, but they still could very well start him. And so if that's the case, and they do decide to have these three guys kind of be the focal point, I think the Lakers will be fine, right? I do, because Austin Reaves, we saw his emergence during the second half of the season as well as in the playoffs. And we saw him get more and more comfortable as time went on, more and more confident, and really kind of just be able to be the guy. We saw LeBron also willing to defer to Austin Reaves. I think that continues to happen. I think our closer is going to be Austin Reaves. I think Austin Reaves will also play a majority of the minutes and the time on this Lakers roster. I see everybody getting about 30 minutes. I could see Austin Reaves getting about 35 minutes because I think he's going to be the glue guy for everything, right? And the Lakers want to kind of let him have more point guard duties. So I think that there's going to be times where D'Lo's on the bench getting rest. And, Gabe Vincent, he's played his 15 minutes, 20 minutes or whatever, and Reaves is getting like little 5-minute bursts at the point guard position. That I think very likely could happen. Rui Hachimura, I mean, we've seen what he was able to do in basically a month's time and really had some success in the playoffs. I believe that will translate into the regular season. One of the big reasons why I think that translates in the regular season is because Rui Hachimura has been working diligently with Phil Handy, who is the guy that helped him get in the position that he was in the playoffs. And I think that he's been really kind of buckling down and just developing on everything. We've seen, the images and stuff that have came out of him working on his shot. Not only is he working on his shot, he's working on his foot movement and foot speed. He's probably going to play the 3, although he's more of a 4. Probably plays the 3, at least to start the game, right? And if he can continue to work on that foot speed, work on that development, I think ultimately when all is said and done, I think Rui Hachimura will be the LeBron James replacement. I think once LeBron kind of sails off into the sunset or he ends up going and playing with the Sun, whatever, when he leaves the Lakers, I think that's when Rui will basically be the 4 for the Lakers. But in the meantime, I expect him to play the 3. He's a guy that can easily go get 20 a night, right? I want to see the Lakers actually run sets in place for this guy, right? The Lakers need to put him in a position to be successful, and we've seen what happens when the Lakers do that. And then D'Lo, I mean, I understand he disappeared in the Denver series. I understand a lot of people that are Laker fans are really upset with D'Lo and just kind of want him shipped out or whatnot. And look, that very well may be the case. There's lots of talks about the Lakers potentially looking to move D'Angelo Russell. If the Lakers really do want to use Austin Reaves in the point guard position more, it's also very possible that he kind of develops and get more comfortable in that point guard spot, and then that kind of gives the Lakers the comfortability of like, hey, let's trade D'Lo because we could have Austin Reaves play the point guard and we'd have Gabe Vincent off the bench still, and worst case, you still have LeBron James. That could be something, but regardless, whatever ends up happening, D'Angelo Russell is still a 17-5-5 guy at worst, right? There's still a guy that, for the Lakers, averaged just under 15 points per game, shot 50% from the field, over 40% from 3. I mean, it was just, if it wasn't for the free throws, like, which is odd, he wasn't very good from the free throw line for the Lakers. I mean, he was like in the 70s percentile, but he was like 84, 85% before that. But yeah, I mean, D'Lo was basically a couple free throws away from being 50, 40, 90 for the Lakers. So I expect him to continue to have a good regular season. But I think Rui and Reaves are obviously the focal point for the future, right? Like this is the 2 core guys that the Lakers really kind of want to build their foundation on. But I think that they're also 2 of the guys that are more of the active scorers, right? I think the Lakers this season really look to Austin Reaves, as I said, to kind of be the closer down the stretch. I could see Reaves getting you, 18 to 20 a game. Rui Hachimura, I mean, he's averaged 13 a game. Is it really that odd to think that he could improve 7 points, right? Not at all. So I think Rui Hachimura is a guy that he plays the 4, he plays the 3. I think he gets a good chunk of the minutes, and I think that, he's a guy that probably gets 18 to 20 points as well. I think these 2 guys are going to be 2 of the more impactful guys for the Lakers this season. Because again, I think LeBron James is really going to take a step back. And so that means on any given night, Austin Reaves, Rui Hachimura, and D'Angelo Russell very likely are going to be the number 2 options, right? Because again, if LeBron just kind of picks and chooses his spots, as we saw that towards the back half of the season, and we saw that in the playoffs. How many times did we see LeBron at like halftime would have like 4 points? And then by the time the game's over, he's at like 25. And you're like, where did that come from? That's what I think kind of happens with LeBron. I think LeBron kind of scores in bursts. Like, okay, here's 6 straight points. Okay, here's another 6 straight points. Here's another 6 straight points. And then here's a random 2 or 3 or whatever. And there's my 20 points, right? That's what I think ends up happening. I think like every, couple quarters, he just goes on a little burst, gets a couple buckets, And then you look up and you're like, LeBron had 23 today? Like, dude, I don't even think he took a shot. But really, it's just that's how I think it flows. So, if Anthony Davis is the number one option for a good majority of the season, then I imagine Austin Reaves is probably number 2. Ruby's probably number 3. D'Lo's in that same ballpark as well. I think whoever has the hot hand, that'll be the guy that they kind of lean on more, which is nice that the Lakers have that versatility to where it could be a different guy on any night. But I think LeBron James is kind of like I don't even want to say he's kind of like the fifth man out there, but I do. I think that there's, to a degree, that will be the case, right? I think these two guys are huge factors, but overall, I think all three of them are going to be important. I just don't know if D'Lo is on the roster come playoff time. I hope so. I don't mind it. I like D'Lo. I would love for D'Lo to help win a championship for the Lakers and kind of erase that stigma that he has. But I think, look, D'Lo is more than capable of being the number 2, 3 option on any given night, right? Again, you're probably not winning a championship if he's your number 2 option. But could you win a bunch of games in the regular season? Sure. D'Lo is, again, he's a legit 17 to 20 point a game guy. This is a guy that was, when he was the number 1 option, was in, the 20s. He was averaging, 23 a game. So he's more than capable of giving you 22 to 25 points a night. So I think these 3 guys are the guys that really handle a lot of the scoring load. Like, I wouldn't be surprised that if, when the season's over, all 3 of these guys combined average somewhere in like the 55 to 60 point a game range collectively. I really do. I think all 3 of these guys average somewhere around, 17 points collectively each. Right? I do. I really like, and I think that that's a good thing. Because, again, these guys very likely are the Lakers' future. Again, maybe not D'Lo as much as Reaves and Rui are, but these are the guys that the Lakers, that in a year or two, are probably going to be the main guys, right? Like, LeBron James is probably going to either go play with his son or retire within the next 2-3 years. And so you're going to have Austin Reaves and you're going to have Rui Hachimura, and those 2 guys are probably going to be your starting point guard or shooting guard and your starting power forward. So why not start easing them into that? The 82-game season is a long season. There's a lot of basketball that needs to be played before the Lakers get in the playoffs. You need to have LeBron James and Anthony Davis as healthy as possible. I mean, you need everybody healthy, but these guys are the young guys. These are the young bucks. These are the guys that you're supposed to be relying heavily on. These are the guys that are supposed to be the future. These are the guys that, again, if they are the future, are going to be asked to do this on a nightly basis without LeBron James and Anthony Davis to fall back on any given night, right? Like, the beauty is, it's like, if they don't have it tonight, you still have LeBron James and Anthony Davis. So use that now to your advantage and put yourself in a position to have that success. But I do. I really genuinely do. I think these 3 guys are going to be huge factors for the Lakers this season, and kind of like the Lakers' big 3 over the course of the season. Plus, LeBron James and Anthony Davis, like I said, they're going to miss 20-plus games each. So in those games, these 3 guys are going to be the guys that are going to have to step up and win games for the Lakers. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? You think these 3 guys are like the Lakers' regular season big 3, or do you think no? Austin Reaves will have a big role, but Rui and D'Lo won't, or however you feel. Whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments.